We're going shirtless again. I don't really care. I'm sick. And I go from being hot to being cold, so fuck it, I'm shirtless. May the messages begin. Don't give a fuck. Alright. Plenty to talk about. Can't believe I'm saying that the week before Christmas. What up, Louis Bear out the door? Guys, show your respect. Whoever watches this video. Louis Bear's a bad one. Alright. So, like I was saying, before Christmas, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And I can remember not very long ago that, you know, the month of December was a write-off sometimes. So, for us to have boxing all the way up to New Year's, and then, like, the week after New Year's, it's good stuff. And I'm talking, like, some high-level stuff. So, you know, January's already spoken for. There's all kinds of great fights going on in January. And, like I said, you know, December's over, basically. And there's still all kinds of good stuff to talk about. What's up, Tanner? Guys, if you get a chance, check out my man Tanner's podcast. It's a professional version of what I do. So, we got stuff to talk about. First, I'm going to knock out what we saw this weekend. I got a few thoughts and things I want to discuss. Then we'll talk about what's going to happen in a couple hours. And then we'll talk about what's happening this week. If you guys got questions, don't worry, I'll get to it at some point. If you have to leave, or if you're tuning in late, don't sweat it, because it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on the gram, and, you know, wherever else. So let's get started. First up, Friday. We were lucky enough to get some boxing on Friday from Arizona. You would think people would learn their lessons. $2 million for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He lost some of that on the scale, but I mean, still, I don't understand how he's main eventing. I know plenty of fighters that could have used that spot. There isn't a lack of super middleweights out there for Danny Jacobs to fight. I realize Eddie Hearn was trying to go for like a Mexican thing in Arizona, but, you know, the people that bought tickets maybe. If anything to do with the name, it's because they were hoping to meet the father in the crowd. That being said, his father's standing by his son. We'll get to that fight. But before that, there's a few things I want to discuss about the card in general. There was a couple of good fights on here. Welterweight Josh Kelly, he had a bit of a tough one, okay? And I was big on the kid, so he's got to watch himself. Middleweight Liam Smith, super respectful dude. But there's a few middleweights I wouldn't mind seeing him fight. So, but also on that card, I want to point out Maurice Hooker versus Uriel Perez. Now, the reason why this is kind of interesting is because Uriel's fighting. They did a catch weight of 144 pounds. It was a last-minute fight for Perez, and the truth is, Maurice Hooker's a bad one. Even though he's got a loss, if you've watched me before, okay, telltale sign that you're a fucking bad motherfucker in the boxing game is you got a couple draws on you. Maurice Hooker's got 3. He's got one notable loss. He lost his title. He moved up in weight, doing 144. It was a quick and easy fight for him. The reason I was bringing him up is because Uriel Perez ran away from a potential rematch with G-Time. You know, I thought he was gone in the win. I thought maybe G-Time wasn't going to get a chance to get his revenge on him. And now, with this loss at 144 pounds, still undefeated at 140 pounds, still holding that victory, there's a strong chance that maybe we can see him back here in 2020, and G-Time can get revenge. Standout of that show, Julio Cesar Martinez, flyweight WBC champ now. He's only 14-1, but it was a hell of a fight from him. Rosales, listen, Nicaragua, I should have known. Tough dude. Now 29-5, but like I said, it was a fucking beautiful fight. If you get a chance to look into it. Also, young buck welterweight Reshat Mati, the Albanian bear. If you get a chance, look into him. Talented young prospect. He's only on his 5th fight, so 2020 is going to be a defining year for him. Before I get to the travesty of Danny Jacobs and Chavez, I want to point something out to you guys. Big disservice to boxing was done. So after all the bullshit from the aftermath of the fight, the main event, Gabe Rosado stepped into the ring. Gabe Rosado, who's 24-12-1. Gabe Rosado, who is given blood and guts in that ring, who's been in some huge middleweight fights and some big super middleweight fights, got pushed to after the main event. So after TV. But it's DAZN. It's streaming. I don't understand why you would cut the fucking feed. Well, that's what fucking happened. So none of us in Canada anyway got to watch Gabe Rosado fight. And because of all the bullshit that happened after the fight, most of the people fucking left. So he fought in an empty fucking room. Now, thanks to Twitter and people that were there, I was able to know that Gabe Rosado won his fight handily. It was a beautiful fight from him. I wish there was fucking footage. I've been looking for it, but DAZN's fucking retarded with this shit. I don't even understand how you allow this to happen. Gabe Rosado's a highlight reel. Win or lose, the guy will give you perfect fucking highlights. It's a shame. Real fucking shame. Now, the reason that fucking happened is Danny Jacobs versus Chavez Jr. Now, there was a headbutt and there was an elbow, but Chavez Jr. from the fucking opening bell was talking to the ref. He showed up overweight, and his heart's been in question 1,000 fucking times. I said it before, I'll say it now. I want him to stay away from boxing. He is 51-3-1. It's nothing to fucking boxing for you. Go start your own weed strain. Open up a fucking tequila brand. I don't fucking care, but stay the fuck away from boxing. You can't fucking box. Maybe coach, I don't know. Maybe he can coach, but don't fucking box anymore. Fucking shit show in the ring. People throwing shoes. I know the TV cut out, but like I said, Twitter's a beautiful thing. So people were sharing all kinds of things. A girl threw 2 fucking size 8 fucking platform shoes into the fucking ring. Got people dodging shit. Now you could say these weren't real fans, but it's because they fell for the trick that all of us knew not to fall for. If it's Chavez Jr., don't buy the ticket. If it's Senior, fuck it, you may as well. Poor Gabe Rosado, man. Beautiful fight from him. He's 33. You know what? He's campaigning at super middleweight. Maybe we get him here in Montreal in a rematch, in a main event, on a real fucking streaming site against David Lemieux. How about them apples? I know David's fought him before, but now we can talk about the weight being different, and Gabe's improved his game, and I'm just looking to keep David busy as well. Plus, Gabe deserves a fucking main event, so fuck it. Why the fuck not? Saturday afternoon. Queensberry Promotions, Frank Warren. It was a big card. Tommy Fury, now 2-0. Now 3-0, sorry. He was off to Love Island. If you look at the kid, you'll get an idea. I got a few messages about women about him. And, yeah, so he's a good-looking kid. I get it. He, I don't know if he's the boxer his brother is or his father was, but he's a light heavyweight. He's a young pup. We'll see what he's got. He's only in his 3rd fight. Main event was Daniel Dubois versus Fujimoto. Fujimoto looked bigger than advertised. It's mainly because he had a big head. In all his interviews, I was like, oh, fuck, this guy's huge. he's the biggest guy Daniel Dubois ever fought. And then they stepped in the ring, and I realized he had like a Tito Ortiz body, but like a bobblehead head size. So I was like, oh fuck, he ain't that big, because he was actually smaller than Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois knocked him out. It was cool, I guess. You know what? Fujimoto, 21-1. Come on down to Montreal and try out the Lion. Daniel Dubois ain't gonna fucking do it. I know they're gonna line him up against the heavyweight juggernaut, Joe Joyce. More than likely, it's gonna be Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois in 2020. But fuck it, I'd like to see Joe Joyce or Daniel Dubois against the Lion, Arslanbek Makhmudov. All right. Saturday night. Now, again, I got issues with the card, but the overall fights were better than the zone fights. Hugo Centeno fought to a draw. Efe Agaba, the big scary African heavyweight, him too, he can come get some Arslanbek, because he hit the canvas against Yago Klazdzi. And this dude fought, man. He was like a giant-sized Kelly Pavlik, and he actually dropped the FA one time, but, you know, Agaba just hits too hard. I think with a little refining, they got to slow him down. He's 11-0 right now. Maybe, you know, spread his fights out apart a bit more, get him a lot more sparring. Andre Durrell fought on the card at light heavy, by the way. Super featherweight, Oscar Escandon actually won. I'm a little disappointed by that. Fuck Oscar Escandon. He owes Tyson Cave a belt. Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo. I don't know what the fuck Tony Harrison was doing. Dude hits you with a good fucking combo. You don't sit there in the middle of the ring and try and showboat for the fans. You won that belt by the fucking skin of your teeth. Not because you were the fucking greater man, but because you were by the skin of your teeth. You were supposed to come out in this fight and really fucking smoke this dude. And instead, Jermell Charlo put a fucking whooping on you. Now, I want to say something about the promotion of this show, though. So, two issues I had with the Fox show. Although the card was better, they put up the fucking lineup again. You know, Pacquiao, Thurman, Spence, fucking Porter, and Danny Garcia. They mention Bud by name, but they don't put his fucking face up there. So I was a little annoyed by that. Then the in-ring announcer girl, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I don't think she's done this too long, because there's certain things you don't ask the loser, right? You don't, especially a loser that's been knocked out, right? Or knocked down pretty hard. There's certain things you try and not ask. You go around it, because you what the fuck's the guy gonna say to you? Well, she wasn't afraid to ask those questions. It was fucking cringeworthy. The other thing that bothered me on Fox is I realized that Fox PBC has nothing to do with Showtime, which is showing the Jean-Pascal fight. Because when they were talking about their next upcoming fight, they went all the way to fucking January. And I was like, what? No love for Pascal, Jack? What happened to all the love for Mayweather on this fucking Fox station? I don't understand. What's happening here? Why the fuck would they not promote Showtime? It's Mayweather, it's Al Heyman, it's all fucking related. Like, I understand being pricks to Crawford, but why the fuck would you mess with the Badu Jack fucking Pascal card? Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so the main reason I am talking to you guys right now is because in 8 hours roughly, Stephen Butler's going to be walking into the ring in Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan. He is fighting under Golden Boy, Eye of the Tiger, and Taken promotions. There's actually 3 titles on this card. If you know your light flyweights and your flyweights, some interesting fights. More importantly, my man Roman Gonzalez is on here. Roman's 47-2. Chocolatito. Still think he's one of the greatest boxers ever. He took 2 hard losses. You know what? I'm just happy he's back in the ring. If you get a chance, I'm hoping TSN shows it, but I don't know what they're fucking showing. TSN's got to get their act together. I'm happy they're showing it. I'm not complaining, but we'll talk about that in a second. There's a light flyweight WBC title on the line. There's a flyweight IBF world title on the line. And then obviously the main event, Ryota Murata for the WBA world title against Stephen Butler. Now, so TSN. Okay, so originally on the DVRs, it was saying 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then when you would check online, it was saying 3:30 in the morning. But then because it said if you want accurate readings, download the app. So obviously I downloaded the stupid app. And I've been getting fucking updates from it. And I'm gonna like delete it after I'm done with this. But point is, basically, I download the app. And on the app, it said 6 a.m. So I was like, all right, cool. 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. He's probably gonna hit the ring around 8. I was gonna wake up. You know, I was probably still gonna wake up at 6. But nonetheless, here's the point. Turns out it is actually fucking 3:55 in the morning. So, like, early this morning at some point, everything just, like, fixed itself. Even my DVR, which I had set to record, is now all fixed up to record at 3:55 a.m. So it's from 3:55 to 6:55. My guess is Steven should be hitting the ring around 6 a.m. Now, if you don't have TSN, there's been numerous people messaging me, and I mean, it's on TSN, so I don't know what kind of trouble I'll get into, but I don't care. I'm going to go live on Facebook. So for those of you that are going to be at work or on your commute, hopefully on public transit or being driven, I will be on Facebook Live. So anyone that doesn't have TSN can obviously catch the fight. Now, for my own sanity, I'm not going to film all the other fights. I'll just do the main event. But, yeah, if you don't want to miss it, so sometime between 6, I would say, yeah, 6 a.m. would be, like, the time he would be hitting the ring. Part of the reason why this fucked me up is because I even went to the Japanese website and then used Google Translate to figure out things. And they don't really have a word for main event. They have, like, start time, and that's it. You know what I mean? So when I referenced it and then, you know, checked time on Google, it still gave me, like, 6 a.m. So I don't know if they're talking about the fight being at 6 a.m. Either way, don't worry. Go to Facebook. Like I said, Steven should be hitting the ring around 6 a.m. If you miss it, it'll be on Facebook for a little longer, and you'll be able to catch it when you get a break at work or when you get home. Alright, real easy. I just want to talk about Murata real quick. Listen, he's not unbeatable. Okay? He's got a split decision loss to Hassam Nadam. Now, if you know Hassam Nadam, I'm not a fan of his. Motherfucker went to the Olympics as a pro after having fought guys like David Lemieux. And rightfully got his ass beat by an 18-year-old. Anyway, back onto the story. He lost a split decision. He got it back the fight after. Then he lost a unanimous decision to Rob Bryant. And then he got it back the fight after. Ladies and gentlemen, I am predicting the same. Not only is Stephen Butler going to win this fight, and I predict somewhere around the 9th or 10th round, it'll be a ref stoppage. But once Steven becomes champion, the mandatory rematch will be set, and Mr. Murata is going to have to come to Montreal. That would be a thing of beauty. That being said, I also know of a little rumor that I'm not going to shed too much light on because I know it's not a rumor, but some bad news kind of changed the waters. A certain Patrice Volney was supposed to fight this week. The guy who was fighting didn't get his visa, but ended up fighting the next night. I forget in what Eastern European country, but he fought the next night instead over there. Had he fought Patrice Volney, and had Patrice Volney won, there'd be talks of Patrice Volney possibly fighting Stephen Butler. Now, like I said, the waters are all murky on that. As cool as the story as that is no good because the fight between Madiev and Volney never happened, and obviously Stephen still has to win his belt. But I like the idea that these two names were brought close to each other and under world championship conditions. I'm not a fan of the local matchups, but if a fucking world title is on the line and our boy can fight our boy, then I'm all for it. If we gotta sacrifice somebody we like, I at least want it to be for a big check and a belt. That being said, Murata's third loss of his career will be Stephen Butler. It's going down approximately 8 hours from now. I will be up. I will be watching. I won't be late, don't worry. The OCD won't let me. But, yeah, so if you're going to miss it on TSN, go to my Facebook. You'll be able to watch it. Stephen Butler by stoppage. Last but not least, there's a few fights, but I doubt you guys are going to tune into them, and they're in the middle of the week. So I'm going to skip right to next Saturday on USA Showtime. There's a small chance, I got to check, but there's a small chance TSN will pick this up, considering Jean-Pascal Badou-Jack are fighting for the WBC Silver and the WBA World Light Heavyweight title. That got elevated because I don't know what's going on with the WBA, but it's messed up. But nonetheless, it's a hell of a card. There's a couple dudes on here I'm interested in. Some lightweights. Let's skip. You guys won't know about this. Super lightweight, Malik Hawkins. I like him. He's fighting Darwin Prince. 17-0 versus 16-0. If you got your eyes on the super lightweight division, one of these dudes will rise to the top. And that's going to be a hell of a fight. Trust me, it's a good matchup. Super middleweight, Jose Uzcategui. I know I'm saying his name wrong. It's Uzcategui versus Lionel Thompson. Both guys have losses on their careers, but both guys put on. I predict a really good fight there too. Super bantamweight's going at it. Probably the main event. It shouldn't be, but probably the main event. Gervonta Davis versus Yurigoris Gamboa. Gamboa's only got 2 losses. I know how everyone always talks about Gamboa's done and da. He's only got 2 losses. Yes, he's a bit of a whiner. He's 38 years old, motherfucker. You be 30-2 with 18 knockouts. We saw Gamboa back in 2013. Imagine that. He was here at the Bell Center fighting for the WBA strap and won it. Got a little Montreal love for Gamboa. Look, man. This is what I got to say. Gamboa, I'm picking Gamboa to win. I don't give a fuck, okay? His only big TKO loss was against Terrence Crawford. And I mean, Terrence Crawford's just killing guys at 147 pounds right now. So, if somebody is going to fucking put a KO on your record against you, it's going to be Terrence Crawford. His other loss was against Castellanos, but Castellanos, he decisioned him. And that was just him not fucking putting on the gas. Since then, he's been on a winning streak. Beltran Jr., Roman Martinez, Jason Sosa. Gervonta hits hard, and they always talk good things about Gervonta, but, look, Gervonta's fought, let me see if I can. The only name I think you guys would know would be Fonseca. Francisco Fonseca. And Jose Pedraza. Now, he fought them both when they were undefeated. And Jose Pedraza is a bad one. but he ain't got fucking Gamboa's movement. None of these guys that he's fought can move like Gamboa, can throw like Gamboa. If Gamboa shows up, turned up, I think Gervonta is going to get his first loss. Jean-Pascal Badou Jack. This one gives me the heebie-jeebies. Jean-Pascal's on his 42nd fight. And Badou Jack's 22-2-3. Remember what the fuck I said about draws. Badou Jack is the king example of what draws mean. Badou Jack don't know what a tough fight isn't. You understand? Motherfucker's always in a fucking tough fight. Even the ones he's won were tough. That's why he's got so many draws. He's a bad luck cat too. But that being said, Jean-Pascal is just one of the luckiest dudes. Been doing this for a minute. Jean-Pascal been doing this for a minute. Listen, as you know, Adonis being retired, he is our most senior and most veteran fighter. 2005. Okay? 2005. 14 years in the game, 42 fights, 37 years old. Every time they wrote him off, he came back with something. Not the most fucking technically sound, but god damn it, motherfucker's athletic as a son-bitch. And as weird as it sounds, over the years, he's improved. So, late bloomer, I guess. I don't know what to say, but look, I want Jean-Pascal to win it. That being said, I don't want him to fight Beterbiev. That'd be so scary. Be good to get Jean-Pascal Alvarez too. Get a little rematch action for Jean-Pascal. Get a little money made for Montreal. Definitely be a cool thing. Alright, let me light up. Didn't have to. Let's just check for questions. What? Steve Rainford wants to know if the rumor is true that Ida Tiger offered $20 million to Wilder to fight their guy. Not a rumor. Now, maybe he opened up a few other journalists' eyes to what kind of money Ida Tiger is playing with. But I'm aware they got the funding to pull that off. Now, do I think that will happen? No. Was it a good political move? Was it a good move with the press? Was it a good move to get guys like you talking about him? 100%. So he had nothing to lose. And the truth is, he believes in his guy, and he does have the money to back it up. So if they would have called this bluff, he would have played out the cards. Now, that being said, I think the road's pretty much planned out for Wilder at the moment. I think Arslanbek's probably going to get a chance at a title within the next year, so probably by 2021. And I think that's going to come from Joshua having to either vacate a few titles or losing a few of his titles. Alright, let's see what else we got. Canadian Olympian, former Olympic. Real quick shout-outs. So the Olympic trials went down. I watched. I want to let these youngsters know. So I know for a fact there were not promoters, but promoter people in the crowd. There was a promoter in the crowd, but whatever. There was promoter people also in the crowd. If you're a young fighter and promoter talk to you about, giving up the amateurs and turning pro, talk to as many people as you can, get their opinions. That's my suggestion. Okay? Don't get, into yourself for a second there, because now all of a sudden, you can make the big time and blah, blah, blah. No. Breathe for a second. Realize that the amateur game, most of the people involved are donating time for the most part. There's very little money. I'm sure you know. And those people are there because they care. But you see, in the promoter game, they make money, right? So just go about things smart. If somebody's talked to you about, giving up on your amateur dreams, talk to as many people as you want. Hell, if you want, DM me. It'll stay between us, and I'll give you my honest opinion. Sometimes the deal's just not right. Sometimes the person's promises won't be true. But if you go into it with your eyes open, it's a different thing. So, real quick, 2 guys made their first amateur fights that I want to shout out. Arturo Gatti Jr. I was fucking nervous as fuck watching that because I was like, I know the kid loves boxing and he's always around the gym and he knows plenty of fighters and he can box. You could tell he could box. It wasn't that. It's just I was just nervous because I wanted it to go good for him. I don't want him to hate boxing. That being said, like, he could be a lawyer or anything else and not have to ever fucking box for the rest of his fucking life. But I just don't want him to hate it. Because, a lot of the bad things that come with the game are related to his dad. And, it just had me thinking about, it got me really introspective about the whole thing. The other person I want to shout out is Ryan Ford's son, RJ. Also, the kid's super athletic. He's been doing pads since forever, so I knew he was going to be fine. I just wanted it to go well for him. It's really cool to see the youngsters starting out. And who knows what the future holds. It leaves you with a little hope for the future. And when you see young, dedicated fighters, and you realize, like, I know these kids are working so hard. Shout out my man, Brian Caldwell. Beautiful fights from him. He got better as it went on. And I find it crazy that they fight so much in a close period of time. But it is shorter rounds. And that's the other thing. I hate fucking watching amateur fights. It drives me nuts. Because, like, if pro boxing judges drive me nuts, amateur boxing judges drive me nuts. And, like, it's a little much for me to handle. Plus, I get all attached to these kids and whatnot. And then they give up or get girls pregnant and stuff. And then I have to give up on my dream of them becoming something. So, I try and stay away from amateurs. That being said, that's it for this week, man. We got Jean-Pascal Badou Jack closing out the week. We got Butler in a couple hours. Gatti Jr. fought in Quebec. I think it was Quebec. Maybe it was Ontario. I'm not sure. It was on his live on Instagram. If you look for him, he's out there. They're not hiding it. I think the video's on Facebook, too. Good little video. Guys, that's it for me. Short episode. I'm sick. Under the weather. Pumped. I don't think I'm going to go to bed. I think I'm going to just stay up till 6 a.m. and then watch Butler. And then I got to babysit. I got to check what time I got to babysit tomorrow. I'm babysitting tomorrow. But it'll be... Don't worry. I'm going to be live watching TSN. So if you don't have TSN, go to my Facebook sometime after 6 a.m. You'll be able to watch it. That's it for me. Guys, homework assignment. Find a perfect stranger, a random person on the street. The bus driver, the fucking crosswalk, the guy at the parking attendant. Doesn't matter. Ask them if they like boxing. Regardless of what they answer, tell them to check Manny Montreal out. That's it for me this week. If you got questions or comments that I didn't get to, don't be shy. Leave them here. I'll answer you. I'll see you guys on the next one. Yeah, there will be a next one. It won't be New Year's just yet. See you then.